It is just roasting. I mean, it says temperatures are sizzling this weekend, and it's going to be dangerous for millions of people. You've got the heat, you also have the humidity, and the heat indices are going to be ramping up, and they're going to be expansive, affecting a lot of people. Not much relief on the horizon either as we make our way through the weekend into early next week. Despite the rough times, we appreciate you. Good times that you're joining us. Welcome to America's Weekend Headquarters. I'm meteorologist Reynolds Wolf.
And I'm meteorologist Molly McCollum. As temperatures soar, so do the chances for severe storms. Lightning and thunder already booming across the Midwest this morning, but will your weekend be a washout? I'll let you know coming up.
That's right. Plus,
in a car, even temperatures with highs in the 70s sometimes can become deadly in the conditions. It doesn't matter, say 5 minutes in the store. Usually takes you longer than you think. And even after 5 minutes, it is very, very uncomfortable inside a car when it's in the 90s outside. 105 to 110, widespread feels like temperatures. The duration of this, too, is what makes it so dangerous. Not just the afternoon highs, but also our overnight lows, which Reynolds is going to talk about in just a minute, just how warm some of these days are going to be in the next couple of days. Extreme heat warnings, that's what you see in that bright pink color. We have a lot of us that have heat advisories, and we're only going to see this expand over the next couple of days because our area of high pressure is going to expand. A lot of triple digits on the map. These are our heat index values, what it feels like outside. 102 New Orleans, 101 Jackson, 104 for you in Little Rock. Not too uncommon right in the summertime, but again, it's just the duration of this. It's day after day with feels like temperatures in the triple digits with no real relief in sight. Perhaps you get an afternoon shower or thunderstorm to cool you off for just a few minutes, but after that goes away and the sun comes back out, it is right back into those feels like temperatures that can be very dangerous. Early next week, a lot of high temperatures in the 90s, feels like temperatures triple digits. And we have one particular area that we're going to be watching really closely because it's the Corn Belt. And in that particular spot, you can actually see feels like temperatures that are much higher and then a lot of surrounding places because you have something, Reynolds, that's called corn sweat. Doesn't sound too appealing, right? But it really makes a huge difference in what it feels like outside.
Corn sweat would be a great name for a garage band.
State of Iowa, where that's really the hot spot of storms this morning. But up and around this ridge of high pressure, we're going to see the same storm track day after day after day. And not only is that going to involve some very already storm-weary areas, but also some super saturated areas where we have seen repeated rounds of thunderstorms, torrential downpours, and with the same pattern for the upcoming week, flash flooding is going to be top of mind, as well as our potential for severe storms. We talked about this weekend. Let's focus on the upcoming week, where we've got Monday, two separate areas that we're going to be watching from the northern plains and the upper Midwest into the mid-South and parts of, say, the Carolinas, all the way to the coast there, where we are going to start off the morning with storms. We see more storms, more activity that bubbles up in the heat of the day, a lot of destabilization of the atmosphere, just with all of the heat and humidity we have in place. Tuesday, a lot of the same. You can see very distinctly where that high pressure is because our storm track around that. Now, do we see a few storms start to bubble up in the south? It's possible, but more likely than not, the heat is going to be the really big story for the upcoming week. Where are we going to see the heaviest rain? 3 to 5 inches of rain. That's what you see in yellow. The European model is saying parts of the northern plains and the upper Midwest with very large pockets of 2 to 3 inches of rain. That's more than enough to cause flash flooding with the kind of ground and saturation that we have right now. The American model wants to spread out that 3 to 5 inches of rain over more areas in the northern plains and the upper Midwest. We're going to have to monitor really closely where we see that activity because not only are we watching for flash flooding, but it's also derecho season where we have specific criteria that has to be met, but they can be incredibly dangerous. And in the summer, you might be asking, how hot is too hot for outdoor activity? The answer goes beyond the temperature you see on your thermometer or even just the heat index. Meteorologist Jen Carfagno explains. It is okay. I mentioned rain, and we've seen a lot of it as of late. We're still seeing a lot of it in parts of Iowa this morning, where we have what's called an MCS, a mesoscale convective system, diving across the state along the leading edge of some of the storms. We have some pretty fierce winds to contend with. Benton, Iowa, and Johnson counties. You have a severe thunderstorm warning until 7:45. I will say, when you look at the loop of the radar, the structure of some of these lines, like the one that just went through Des Moines, has actually weakened a little bit. But as we continue to watch some of the stronger parts of this line, like through Cedar Rapids and then eventually into Iowa City, that's where we still can find not only strong winds, 60 miles per hour, maybe even some embedded areas of spin and some small hail. On top of that, torrential downpours and lightning. We basically have it all in Iowa this morning. We have a severe thunderstorm watch that goes until 10 a.m. And this is not the only round of thunderstorms that we're expecting today. In fact, Iowa, you could see 2 more before we get to tomorrow morning. So there are afternoon storms over many of the same areas. Not to mention, we've got storms across the Ohio Valley, parts of the Mid-South and the Mid-Atlantic. And any of those could be strong to severe. But this is 8 p.m. We need to watch Chicago really closely. Detroit could see multiple rounds of thunderstorms, but look at this complex that's firing up in parts of the plains. We're going to be watching that all through the overnight hours, rolling into, you guessed it, Iowa by tomorrow morning. There's 7 a.m., so could we very well have a similar situation to what we have today, where we're tracking gusty winds, torrential downpours, flooding by tomorrow morning. In fact, the flooding footprint, Reynolds, is pretty large from areas of the Ohio Valley up through portions of the plains, the Mid-South, the Mid-Atlantic. You name it, flooding is going to be a big issue.
Yeah, and could be very dangerous, no doubt.